That night, the world stopped for a moment. The lights, the cheers, the glitter of Seoul's biggest stage, all focused on one person standing quietly under the spotlight. His face calm, his eyes shining faintly beneath the brilliance. And in the front row, someone stared at him, eyes trembling, tears glistening. A moment that felt too beautiful, too emotional to be real. Wong Eba had just been crowned the most handsome face of K-pop 2025. But amid the thunderous applause and flashing cameras, there stood Xiao Zhan, watching him, smiling through tears that spoke louder than any words. Hello, drama lovers. Welcome back to K-pop World. Tonight, we're diving into a story that silenced the entire K-pop universe. An award not just about beauty, but about journey, pain, and the quiet bond between two souls who understand each other without saying a thing. Because behind the title, The Most Handsome Face of K-pop 2025, hides a story that moved millions to tears. Seoul glittered brighter than ever that night. The red carpet shimmered with stars, dazzling gowns, tailored suits, flawless smiles. It was one of the grandest award nights of the year. But among all those names, only one drew every gaze: Wang Yibo. When the host opened the golden envelope and called his name, the room erupted. Applause, cheers, music, cameras. But Eba didn't move. For a brief second, he simply stood there, frozen, scanning the sea of faces before him, as if searching for someone. And then he found him, front row, in an elegant black suit, calm and radiant under the spotlight, sat Xiao Zhan. His smile faint, but his eyes soft, trembling. When Eba finally walked to the stage, his steps were slow. Not heavy because of fear, but because every step carried memories of nights with no sleep, of laughter shared, of tears hidden behind the curtains. And that night, under the brightest light of his life, the two worlds that once walked together met again. To some, it might just be another award show. But for those who have followed Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan since The Untamed, it was so much more. It was a symbol of everything they had gone through. A silent promise. A reunion without words. Years ago, before fame and spotlight, Wang Yibo was just a quiet trainee. Shy, reserved, speaking more through actions than words. Xiao Zhan, on the other hand, was gentle, warm, yet strong. The kind of person who always made others feel safe. When fate brought them together for The Untamed, no one could have imagined how that one project would change everything. From rising actors to global sensations, their world exploded overnight. But fame came with storms, criticism, rumors, hate. Suddenly, the world that once adored them turned cold. And in those dark moments, when voices around them grew cruel, they only had each other. No words, just silent strength, just trust. And now, years later, that award night felt like the closing of a long, painful chapter. When Eba took the microphone, the crowd went quiet. The cheering faded, replaced by a stillness that felt sacred. With a trembling smile, he began to speak softly. I've never thought of myself as the most handsome person, but tonight, I feel lucky. Lucky to have met people who made me want to become a better version of myself. Thank you to those who saw me, even when I was invisible. A hush fell over the hall. Not a sound, only the faint sound of someone's breath and the sight of Xiao Zhan, wiping away tears he could no longer hide. His eyes never left the stage. And for a moment, everyone in that room knew. Those words weren't just for the audience. They were for him. Within hours, social media exploded. Clips of Eba's speech went viral, flooding timelines across every platform. Hashtags like hashtag Wang Eba Most Handsome 2025 and hashtag Xiao Zhan Proud shot to the top of global trends. Millions commented. That gaze said everything. This wasn't just an award, it was destiny. On Weibo, the moment dominated the top chart for 2 days straight. On X, Twitter, the clip of Eba glancing toward Xiao Zhan hit 15 million views in under 8 hours. And every replay brought tears to the eyes of fans around the world. Because it wasn't acting, it was real. One journalist who was backstage that night wrote what they saw. When Eba stepped off the stage, still holding his trophy, someone approached him quietly from the side corridor. It was Xiao Zhan. They didn't speak at first, just stood there, eyes locked, hearts full. Then Eba smiled softly and reached out to pat Xiao Zhan's shoulder. No microphones, no cameras, just two friends in a quiet moment that said more than words ever could. Witnesses said Xiao Zhan whispered, barely audible, "I knew you'd make it here someday." And Eba answered with a faint smile, "Thank you for always believing in me." Simple words, but heavy with meaning. They didn't need to perform. They didn't need to explain, because real bonds don't need an audience. Today, both have taken different paths. Wang Yibo, racing through international circuits, walking global fashion runways. Xiao Zhan, diving deep into acting and theater, creating art that touches souls. Yet, somehow, the universe always finds a way to bring them back into the same frame. That night was one of those moments. It didn't feel like coincidence. It felt destined. Perhaps it was the universe's gentle way of saying, "You've both been through enough. Now it's time to smile again." For fans, it wasn't just nostalgia. It was healing. A reminder that even in the harshest corners of fame, kindness still exists. That not every connection in the entertainment world is shallow or staged. That real friendship, or perhaps something even deeper, can survive the distance, the rumors, the years. The camera's final shot that night showed Eba standing under the lights, trophy in hand, smiling with quiet pride. And in the front row, Xiao Zhan, still there, still smiling through tears. They didn't hug. They didn't speak. They didn't need to, because sometimes silence says everything. And that night, their silence told the world more than any speech ever could. The world saw two stars sharing one frame of light. But for those who truly knew their story, it was more than that. It was two souls reconnecting, beyond fame, beyond words, beyond time. And maybe without realizing it, they had just written another chapter in a story that will never really end. When the lights dimmed and the crowd faded away, only one thing remained: a smile, a tear, and an unspoken message that only they could understand. We made it. Thank you for staying with us until the end, dear drama lovers. What did you feel while watching that moment? Did your heart stop too, when their eyes met under the spotlight? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to stay tuned here on K-Pop World for more heartwarming, emotional stories from the world of Asian stars. Stories that remind us that behind every spotlight, there's always something beautifully human. Until the next story,